All right, I'd like to call the Oak Hill School Building Corporation meeting to order. It is now 5:31. Does not look like we have any participation here from the public, so we will move on to new business. The first thing on the agenda is to accept the resignation from Oak Hill Building Corporation President Michael Hicks. He emailed me and let me know as of 12/31/2025 that he would like to resign from the committee. That email is in your folder, so if you would like to access that to review, you sure can. So we would need a motion and a second to accept that resignation.
Make a motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the second thing then is to approve the recommendation of Jacob Moracle as the new member to the Oak Hill Building Corporation. Jacob was recommended by Michael. I reached out to Jacob and he is also in favor of being part of the committee, was unable to make it tonight due to a prior obligation. So I put that, his email showing his interest in the position, and then he and I are meeting on Friday to kind of start from the beginning and go through everything with this project that we are looking to do. So we would need a motion and a second to approve his recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
And then the third thing on the agenda would then be to elect new officers for the Oak Hill Building Corporation. Michael was president, so you were vice president. Do you want to step to president, or would you rather be president, or does it matter?
I don't mind being president if
Go
you're okay.
for it. Yeah,
Okay. Do you want to continue to be secretary? Is
I can be vice president.
vice
Fine.
president? Okay.
Yep.
So,
We need signatures.
yeah, we will need
from the secretary
signatures tonight.
Just wait on Jacob for the.
Yeah, I'll just have him sign them when we meet on Friday.
Okay.
That would probably be the easiest. Okay, so I have a motion for President Ryan Smith, Vice President Corbett Moses, and Secretary Treasurer Jacob Oracle. Can I have a motion and a second to approve that?
Make a motion.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, on item number 4 is to adopt the resolution approving form of amendment to lease. So what this would be, this project that we are looking to do would require us to basically amend the original lease that we looked at, or that was created in 2013. That amendment or that lease is in your folders, but let me pull out a copy of it here to you. Okay, so basically, the original lease was 2013. Anytime that we have to take out any type of lease over a certain amount, our school corporation cannot take out that much money on its own. And so we have to go through a building corporation to do that. So technically what happens is the building corporation is the one that owns the property, and then the school pays the building corporation back so much each year. And in this case, it's looking to be 22 years that we pay back the building corporation for that. The total amount or the maximum amount that we can do is 25.5 million. What that does is it sets us to the capacity. We have some debt that falls off here this next couple of years. If I put in your folder the financial information from Baker Tilly, and you can see on there where those, so you can see here, this is where we are today.
Right.
And we like to stay around that 3.5 right in there, kind of where that light blue one is there, each year, just to take out the same amount of debt service. Well, as debt falls off, or as we pay off loans and other leases, that becomes less and less and less. So what we are able to do then, and what we're planning to do with this particular project, is to take out additional debt to keep our levy at the 3.5. So it would change our tax rate, but only because of some of the new changes that we're seeing with the legislature. That's good, yes, that property tax, that is gonna affect the tax rate, but our goal is just to keep the same levy. So when we started this project, we did not want to do anything more that we couldn't keep our capacity the same, because then it affects the taxpayers.
Right.
So we're trying to keep it just, standard the whole way for the next 22 years to allow, hopefully our debt service remains the same, the taxpayers see that, and aren't having to pay anything extra for this project. So that is kind of what I guess schools do, or any government entity when they want to continue to upgrade and update their buildings. But what that would do is it would put in new HVAC into all 5 of our schools. We have each one broke down so we can do the project as, we're gonna bid each project, and then as and when we see those bids come in, we can kind of see where that 25.5 million is as far as our capacity. When we planned this 2 years ago, and then we got the quotes or the initial information on the cost of it from Skillman is who we work with for that. 25.5 million was our max. So now we're a year later. He said those are, they've said those prices could be different. They can change, they could go up, they could go down. Our hope is that they go down, and we're able to maybe get more things because we have some alternates in there that we want to do too. So we have our basic plan in each of our buildings, upgrades our new heat pump to a heat pump vertical unit, ventilators. So VUVs is what we call them. So each one, they're going to be the same in every building. The controls then will control all of them in all of our buildings. So that's our plan. That's the project. They'll go out for bids in August. We hope to award bids in September for the project, then acquire the funding in November is the plan right now. So you can go. And then they also, each one is kind of brought down here with what the cost of what they're planning for each building. And then, like I said, we have some additional things that we're hoping if they come in lower, we can do. And if they don't, then we won't be able to do that. So that's kind of the plan for the project.
So you aren't looking to spend the whole 25.5?
We don't want to, no. If we don't have to, we do not want to. Our hope, like when we first discussed, we had those alternates, we kept them out purposefully. I think we can come in lower than that and then not have to take the total 25.5. That's our goal, is to come in. And then as we kind of, like I said, as we start down that road of, we get the bids, we see where they're at, I think that'll help us decide exactly what all we're able to do.
Sure.
So, hopefully, I'm not sure. Troy Pond is our maintenance director, and he has done an excellent job of keeping our buildings, going. But like this time of year is really tough because it's really cold in the
The highs
morning.
and lows and the swings.
Yes. So it's really cold in the morning. So that's a challenge for him right now because our system is not able to kind of adjust that quickly for those type of situations. And then the other part is we are not able to, like when we have a motor go down or we have something go down in one of the unit vents, to get the parts in a timely manner to get them up and running. So I think those are obviously challenges with older equipment that you get. And then the control side of it too is hard to.
That was always kind of a issue back even 13 years ago, so.
Well, he said, it'll say that it's 70 on his computer, and then you go in there and it's 85 or whatever. So those are what he kind of has to work through right now. So we're hoping with this corporation wide, and then it's all the same controls can control everything. That we are able to have a good heating and cooling, which then creates a better learning environment.
Will they try to change these out during School time or in the summer next year?
So the plan is to start this coming spring already with some of that. And the plan is we'll start at one building. I anticipate it to be probably the junior high school. And right now we have extra rooms in each of our buildings. So as they start in a certain area of the building, we will have to move those classrooms. He thought they'd work on 4
Okay.
to 8 at a time, depending. So we will just relocate those individuals for a certain amount of time. We don't really, I kind of said, what does that timeline look like? You know, is it 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 weeks? He didn't really know that at that time. So
I imagine the more they do. the
I think
easier
that's,
it'll get,
yeah,
you
and
know,
I think a
the
lot
easier.
depends on, because I don't know how they'll order the equipment, but as that comes in, and
Sure.
I'm sure they'll get initially, you know, the amount that they need to get going on it, but then after that, how that works, I'm not sure, but yeah, so we're gonna try to do it while in school. And like I said, we're fortunate that each of our buildings has extra rooms right now.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Good.
So that would be what our Exhibit A, resolution approving form of amendment to lease. It would be for this project, we would amend the current lease we have to add the additional 25.5 million onto that over a 22-year process or payment plan. So I would need a motion to approve that.
I make a motion to approve resolution approving form of amendment to lease.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution approved. The second resolution is, it's a resolution approving form of first supplemental trust indenture and issuance of bonds. So what that is basically the agreement between the school, the building corporation, and the US Bank, who is our trustee of our bonds. So that agreement outlines all of that. So as we add on to our amendment for our lease, we also have to basically approve the issuance of bonds to add on to that for supplemental trust indenture. And this just outlines kind of the timeline, no sooner than the July 15th. We're hoping to do the bonds though, and get those all taken care of in November, so we don't have to worry about that. Again, 25.525 is what our maximum is. And like you mentioned, if we do not spend that or have to spend that much, we don't want to. Yeah, and it says right here, the bonds, the sale of the bonds is planned to be on November 10th right now. So for the lowest bidder, we were fortunate when we just went out with Geo bonds 2 years ago that we got a really good, much lower interest rate than what we expected. So we actually got more in our bonds than what we had anticipated. So hopefully the same will be true for this. This obviously is a much larger amount, so that can make a difference. But anyway, so I need a motion to adopt the resolution approving issuance of bonds in form of trust indenture and deeming official statement nearly final.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So I will sign the president. That was exhibit B.
Sorry.
And then there's nothing else on the agenda unless there's anything that you guys would like more, you want to talk about or discuss. Okay. All right, then we just need a motion to adjourn at 5:46.
So moved.
Second,
Second that.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do have a few signatures that she's filled out, so President will be here.